Have you ever felt like no matter how much you give, the world keeps taking more? Your time, your peace, your sense of direction. You chase order in chaos, control in uncertainty, but the harder you grip, the faster life slips away. The Stoics learned a different way. They turned inward. So, stay with me, and let's remember how to do the same. Entering the first chapter, the art of acceptance. There are nights when even the strongest man feels small before the weight of the world. You stare at what slipped through your fingers, plans undone, words left unspoken, people who changed without warning, and you wonder why life refuses to obey your efforts. The truth is brutal, yet freeing the world will never bend to your will, and yet you can still stand tall within it. Marcus Aurelius knew this well. Every evening, after the noise of the Roman court faded, he sat alone under the dim flame of a candle and wrote to himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He was surrounded by war, betrayal, and disease. His empire was cracking, yet his spirit stayed whole. How? Because he drew a sacred line, the one that separates what is his from what is not. His thoughts, his actions, his virtue, his. The rest, mere weather. Now imagine your own life for a moment. How much of your energy bleeds into battles you can never win? You rage against people who won't change, replay words that cannot be unsaid, relive days that are already gone. Every moment spent in resistance is a moment stolen from peace. The Stoics saw this clearly. It is not the storm that breaks us, it is our fight against the wind. Epictetus, once a slave, lived this truth. His master crippled his body, but never his mind. He could not control his chains, but he mastered his thoughts. From that mastery, he built freedom greater than any empire. He taught that our first duty is to know what belongs to us, our judgments, our choices, our actions. The rest, fortune, others, death, belong to fate. Confuse them, and you guarantee misery. See them clearly, and you find liberation. Think of a storm cancelling your plans. You curse, you resist, but does your anger calm the clouds? A friend betrays you. Does your bitterness rewrite their decision? The answer is always no. Control ends where reality begins. Peace begins where control ends. Acceptance is not surrender, it is clarity. When you accept what is, you stop scattering your strength across the impossible. You reclaim it. You channel it inward, to patience, to virtue, to endurance. This is how the wise stay calm when others drown. They do not command the sea, they learn to steer through it. The calm person in a crisis is not detached, they are awake. They refuse to let the storm define them. As Marcus wrote, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your judgment about them." That single line is a map to serenity. So, imagine a life where you no longer demand the world to obey, where you meet its chaos with composure, where every moment of acceptance becomes a quiet rebellion against despair. The storms will still come, they always do, but you will no longer drown in them. You will stand, you will breathe, and you will whisper, "This is not mine to control." That is where freedom begins. And as we step into what comes next, remember this: mastering peace does not start with changing the world. It starts with mastering your reaction to it. Advancing to the second chapter. Master your reactions. There are moments when a single word can burn through your calm like fire through dry grass. A look, a tone, an unexpected insult, and suddenly you're no longer in control. Your hands tighten, your breath quickens, and your mind rushes to strike back. That is the moment where most people lose themselves. But that moment, if you can master it, is where true power begins. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The Stoics understood that the world doesn't break us through events, it breaks us through our reactions to them. Life will hit you with loss, injustice, and disrespect. But whether those things destroy you or strengthen you depends on one question: how will you respond? Because peace isn't found in silence around you, it's born in the discipline within you. Imagine walking through the crowded streets of ancient Rome. A stranger bumps into you, spilling wine on your cloak. You could curse him, raise your voice, make a scene, or you could take a breath, adjust your robe, and keep walking. The event itself is neutral. Your reaction gives it meaning. The same rule governs your life today. The rude driver, the condescending co-worker, the argument that spirals into regret. These are not attacks, they are tests. Every one of them asks the same question: who controls you, the world or your mind? Epictetus compared life to a play. You don't write the script, choose the actors, or decide when the curtain falls. You only decide how you perform your role. If someone insults you, it's simply a line delivered on stage. It only wounds you when you step out of character and forget your purpose. That purpose is to act with reason, with virtue, with calm. Think of the people you respect most. They're not the loudest in the room. They're the ones who stay composed when others lose control. That's real strength. The strength to remain unshaken while the world trembles. But mastery doesn't mean suppression. The Stoics never told us to bury emotion. They taught us to pause, to look at it, to choose. Anger will rise, fear will whisper, grief will visit. Let them come, but never hand them the reins. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you have power over your mind. Externally, nothing can harm you, but if you lose control of your reactions, you harm yourself. Picture this in our modern world. You open an email that stings, a harsh comment from a boss, a client, a friend. Your chest tightens. Your mind crafts a perfect reply, sharp and immediate. That's the first path reaction. The second path is quieter. You wait, you breathe, you let the emotions settle before you answer. One leads to regret, the other to respect. Each time you choose calm over chaos, you train your spirit like a soldier sharpening his blade. Each repetition makes it easier, until one day it becomes your nature. You no longer fight to stay calm, you simply are. The Stoics taught that no one can enslave a person who controls their own reactions. They can insult you, but you don't have to be insulted. They can harm your body, but not your will. They can take your possessions, but not your peace. That is the power no empire can grant and no tyrant can take. So train for this. Catch yourself in the pause before you react. Guard that breath like a fortress, because in that instant you hold your entire destiny. Without mastery, even a small insult can ruin your day. With it, even great misfortune cannot shake your dignity. Marcus Aurelius faced conspiracies and betrayal, yet his words never trembled. He knew the secret. The world will test you, but your reaction defines you. So let this truth settle deep focus, not on what others do, not on what life brings, but on how you choose to meet it. That choice is your freedom. That freedom is your strength. And from that strength, everything else begins to fall into place. Moving into the third chapter, live according to nature. There's a quiet kind of power in learning to move with life instead of against it. Most people fight what already is, arguing with time, demanding fairness, clinging to things meant to pass. But nature doesn't bargain. It moves forward, calm and certain. And peace begins the moment you stop resisting its flow. The Stoics carried one simple truth: live according to nature. It sounds ancient, but it's as relevant now as ever. To live according to nature is to align yourself with reality, not with how you wish things were, but with how they are. It's remembering that you are not above life, but a part of it. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, never forgot this. Surrounded by chaos and luxury alike, he reminded himself daily, what is not good for the hive is not good for the bee. He saw himself as one piece of a larger whole, a man, not a god. His peace came from serving that whole, not fighting it. We, on the other hand, resist endlessly. We demand comfort when life offers challenge. We beg permanence from a world built on change. We want others to behave kindly while we struggle to control our own nature. No wonder we are tired. Think of a river. Fight its current and you exhaust yourself. Flow with it, and it carries you. Seneca warned, fate leads the willing and drags the unwilling. Life will move either way. The question is whether you'll be pulled in pain or carried with grace. Living according to nature also means living up to your own nature, to reason, to act with virtue, to live in harmony with others. When you betray this, chasing greed or comfort, you fracture inside. When you honor it with courage, justice, temperance and wisdom, you return to balance. Everything changes, everything ends. The seasons remind us bloom, flourish, fade, rest. Marcus accepted this truth not with sorrow, but with clarity. Mortality didn't weaken him, it focused him. So ask yourself, am I fighting life or flowing with it? When you align with nature, you stop chasing illusions. You start walking with reality. You stop resisting change and begin to live freely within it. That is what it means to live according to nature, to walk with life, not against it. To find peace, not by controlling the current, but by learning to move as part of it. Advancing to the fourth chapter. Embrace adversity as training. There are days when life feels like it's testing every inch of your strength, when nothing moves as planned, when the people you trusted falter, and when the weight on your shoulders feels unbearable. Most people curse those moments. The Stoics called them training. They never prayed for ease. They never asked the world to soften its blows. Instead, they trained their minds to meet hardship head-on. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." To the Stoics, adversity wasn't an enemy. It was the forge where character is made. Every obstacle, a lesson. Every loss, a teacher. Every pain, a chance to practice virtue. Imagine this: a soldier before battle. He doesn't grow stronger in the comfort of camp. He grows strong by carrying weight, enduring exhaustion, standing firm in fear. Life works the same way. Without challenge, your spirit stays soft. With it, you sharpen into something unbreakable. Seneca once warned, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Pain refines you. Friction reveals what's real. If you avoid struggle, you avoid growth. The very hardships you dread are the ones that shape you into the person you were meant to become. Think back to your own story, the heartbreaks, the failures, the losses you thought would end you. They didn't. They hardened your resolve, deepened your wisdom, and taught you endurance no comfort ever could. Look closer, and you'll see it. Every scar is a certificate of strength. Epictetus, who lived through slavery and disability, taught his students to treat pain as raw material for virtue. If life hands you suffering, use it to build endurance. If it gives you injustice, use it to practice fairness. If it confronts you with fear, use it to summon courage. The world, he said, is a training ground. Every difficulty, a weight laid upon your soul, not to break it, but to strengthen it. Modern life has made comfort our idol. We chase ease, convenience, safety, but comfort breeds fragility. When life finally tests us, even small disruptions feel catastrophic because we've never trained for them. The Stoic answer is simple: don't run. Meet the challenge. Not with complaint, but with calm determination. When hardship comes, and it always will, don't ask, why me? Ask instead, why not me? Here is your moment to rise. Don't wish for a lighter burden. Build a stronger back. Marcus Aurelius faced plague, war, and betrayal, yet he wrote each night as if speaking to his own soul, life is not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to make you wise. And it did. His calm wasn't luck, it was training. So when life pushes against you, pause. Remember this. This is training. The pain is polishing you. The struggle is shaping you. The obstacle before you is the path itself. Welcome it. Because each time you rise through adversity, you become stronger, steadier, freer. And when you master that strength, everything else in life begins to fall into place. Entering the 5th chapter. Detach from desire. Desire is a subtle chain. You don't feel it tighten until you try to move freely. It starts small. One more possession, one more victory, one more glance of approval, and before you know it, you've built a cage out of everything you thought you needed. The Stoics saw this trap for what it was: not pleasure itself, but dependence on it. Seneca warned, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Desire, left unchecked, turns abundance into emptiness. You buy the thing you wanted, you celebrate, you feel full, and then the hunger returns. New target, new craving, same void. The Stoics called this the endless treadmill of wanting. You run hard, but you never arrive. To live wisely, they said, is not to reject life's gifts, but to master your attachment to them. Enjoy the taste, but don't cling to the cup. The moment your happiness depends on what you don't control. You hand your peace to fortune. Epictetus taught his students a simple exercise: when you desire something, pause and remind yourself it isn't truly yours. You may gain it, or you may not. But if you can remain content either way, you are already free. Think about it. You want the new car, the promotion, the house. You convince yourself that once you get it, you'll finally rest. And for a moment, you do. Then the shine fades, and your mind looks for the next thing. This is not life, it's slavery with prettier walls. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who could have indulged in anything, lived simply by choice. He wrote, "Luxury corrupts more than poverty can." He knew that comfort softens character, and that virtue, not wealth, is the only stable ground. His joy came from mastery, not from ownership. The Stoics never condemned ambition. They simply drew a line between purpose and greed. To strive for excellence is noble. To chase endlessly is bondage. You can pursue goals, work with discipline and seek growth, but without tying your worth to the result. Act with effort, release the outcome. That is freedom. And when it comes to loss, detachment protects you. Everything you have, your health, your wealth, your loved ones, is borrowed from nature. The Stoic does not cling in fear. He loves deeply but lightly, knowing that everything returns when its time has come. As Epictetus said, when you kiss your child, remind yourself they are mortal. It's not cruelty, it's clarity. To love without possession is the purest form of love. So imagine a life no longer ruled by craving, where you can enjoy without needing, love without fearing loss, and breathe without chasing the next prize. That is what detachment gives you, not emptiness, but space. Space to live fully without chains. Because freedom is not having everything. Freedom is needing less. And when you free yourself from desire, everything else in life begins to fall quietly, effortlessly into place. At this stage, practice voluntary discomfort. There's a kind of weakness that hides beneath comfort. You don't notice it until the smallest inconvenience shakes your calm, the wrong tone, the delayed flight, the cold morning that feels unbearable. We spend our lives building layers of ease, and, in doing so, we forget how to endure. The Stoics understood this long ago. True strength isn't forged in pleasure, but in pain willingly faced. Seneca practiced this often. He would eat plain food, sleep on rough bedding, and ask himself, "Is this what I feared?" He knew that comfort breeds fragility, and that fear fades when you face what you once ran from. To train for hardship, you don't wait for the storm. You walk into the wind. It may sound strange in our world of climate control and convenience, where every discomfort can be avoided with a button. But that avoidance is exactly why our spirits grow soft. The Stoics saw voluntary discomfort not as punishment but as preparation. By choosing small challenges now, you protect yourself from breaking under greater ones later. Think of it like armor. Each time you choose hardship, you strengthen the shield that guards your peace. Sleep on the floor for a night, and you'll remember you don't need luxury to rest. Skip a meal, and you'll see hunger isn't the monster you imagined. Step into the cold and realize you are stronger than your comfort ever allowed you to believe. Epictetus, who knew suffering firsthand, said, "Difficulties show what men are." To him, every voluntary struggle was a rehearsal for life's real battles. If you can live well with little, what can fate truly take from you? Fortune cannot steal what you've already learned to live without. That is freedom in its purest form. Modern life has made us fragile. We panic at a slow connection, lose patience in traffic, feel undone by minor loss. But those are not crises, they're reminders. Reminders that we've grown dependent on ease. The Stoic trains differently. They choose moments of discomfort so that no event, no loss, no pain can shake them. And there's a gift hidden in that practice: gratitude. When you return to warmth after cold, to food after fasting, to rest after effort, you appreciate what once felt ordinary. Discomfort teaches you how rich you already are. Gratitude becomes your reward, and peace your companion. So start small. Skip the unnecessary. Walk instead of drive. Choose the harder thing on purpose. Each act whispers the same truth: I can endure this. And the more you practice, the less the world can take from you. Because voluntary discomfort isn't suffering, it's self-mastery. It's how you train your mind to stay calm when life turns harsh. And when the next storm comes, as it always does, you won't flinch. You'll face it with quiet strength and say, "I've trained for this." From here, guard your time. Fiercely, there is one currency you will never earn back: time. You can lose wealth and rebuild it. You can lose possessions and replace them, but every hour that slips through your hands is gone forever. The Stoics knew this truth intimately. Seneca warned, It is not that we have a short life, but that we waste much of it. Look at your own days. How many hours disappear in distraction, scrolling, arguing, chasing fleeting pleasures that fade as soon as they appear? We live as if time is infinite, but it is slipping quietly through the cracks of our attention. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." He didn't write this to frighten himself, but to focus his soul. To live well, you must learn to guard your time as you would guard your life, because that's exactly what it is. Every yes to something meaningless is a no to something sacred. To say no is not arrogance. It's clarity. Seneca mocked those who protect their coins, but let strangers steal their hours. You can replace gold, he said, but never a single day. In our world, the theft of time has become invisible. The glowing screen, the endless noise, the constant lure of urgency, all pulling you away from what truly matters. The Stoic answer is simple: wake up, reclaim your attention. Ask yourself before every task, is this worthy of the hours I will never get back? Guarding your time doesn't mean rejecting joy. It means choosing it wisely. It means giving your hours to work that fulfills, to people who elevate you, to silence that restores you. Even the Emperor of Rome carved out time to write and reflect, knowing that philosophy was the breath that kept his spirit alive amid chaos. So treat each day as a complete life. Do what must be done. Say what must be said. Leave nothing essential undone. Because when you finally understand how limited your time is, you stop wasting it and start living. Guard your time fiercely, live deliberately, and everything else will fall into place. Advancing to the 8th chapter. Control your thoughts. There's a war that no one sees, yet everyone fights. It doesn't happen in cities or on battlefields. It happens inside the mind. One thought can build you, another can break you. The Stoics called this the true battleground of life. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Every insult, every loss, every disruption is neutral until your mind gives it meaning. But most people surrender that power without realizing it. A rude comment, a piece of bad news, a broken plan, and instantly the mind begins its storm. This is unfair. This ruins everything. And so what was small becomes unbearable. The event doesn't hurt you, your judgment about it does. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. That's the key. Your mind is yours. No one can force you to think a certain way unless you hand them the reins. So guard your thoughts like a fortress. Imagine yourself as the watchman at the gate. Not every voice, not every fear, not every temptation deserves entry. When a thought approaches, ask, is it true? Is it useful? Is it worthy of my peace? If not, let it pass. Seneca warned that the undisciplined mind is an enemy within. Fear imagines disasters that never happen. Anger twists accidents into insults. Envy inflates the happiness of others and shrinks your own. The untrained mind becomes its own tormentor. The Stoic trains differently. When emotion rises, they pause. When chaos calls, they breathe. They refuse to be ruled by thoughts that do not serve virtue. In our time, this battle is fiercer than ever. The noise never stops. News, opinions, comparisons, endless screens telling you what to fear, what to want, who to be. One headline can poison your peace for a day. One careless comment can ruin your mood for hours. But remember, they are only impressions. You decide what enters. You decide what stays. To control your thoughts is not to deny reality, it's to see it clearly, without exaggeration, without the drama your mind tries to add. Pain may come, loss will visit, but you do not have to write tragedy out of every truth. Reality as it is enough. Your mind is your kingdom. Rule it, or it will rule you. When fear rises, question it. When anger flares, pause. When envy stirs, remind yourself that appearances deceive. The Stoic's peace is not luck, it is discipline. Master your thoughts and you master your life. Control your mind, and no storm can shake you. Entering the 9th chapter. Focus only on what you can control. There comes a point in every life when you realize how much energy you've wasted fighting what was never yours to command. You've argued with time, begged people to change, raged at storms that never heard you. And in the end, you were only exhausting yourself. The Stoics called this the great error of humankind, confusing what is within our control with what is not. Epictetus began his teachings with this truth. Some things are up to us, and some are not. Forget it, and misery follows. Remember it, and you find peace. Most of what troubles you, the opinions of others, the turns of fortune, the weather, the past, is outside your reach. But your choices, your attitude, your character, these are entirely yours. That is where your true power lives. Think of how much suffering we create by ignoring this boundary. We worry about being liked, though no one's heart is ours to steer. We curse the rain, though it falls without our permission. We mourn time lost, though no hand can stop its flow. All this pain, born not from life itself, but from trying to rule what never belonged to us. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, surrounded by war and betrayal, reminded himself daily, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He didn't say, change the world. He said, change your mind. The first brings exhaustion. The second brings peace. Seneca warned, he suffers more than necessary who suffers before it is necessary. How often do we live in fear of things that haven't even happened? The Stoic answer is to let go, to say quietly, this is not mine, I release it. And with that release your strength returns. Life is like the archer's art. Your job is to aim well, steady the hand, focus the eye, release with precision. After that, the arrow belongs to the wind. The target may shift. The string may snap, but your peace remains because you did your part. So when frustration rises, pause and ask, is this within my control? If yes, act with reason and virtue. If no, let it go. Each time you choose this discipline, you grow lighter, stronger, freer. Because freedom is not found in controlling everything around you. It's found in mastering yourself. And once you do, everything else in life begins to fall quietly into place. Entering the 10th chapter. Live with virtue above all. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies one unshakable truth. The only true good is virtue, and the only true evil is vice. Everything else, wealth, pleasure, success, reputation, is merely passing smoke. They may comfort you or crush you, but they do not define you. What defines you is how you live, how you act, and what principles you stand upon when the world begins to crumble. Marcus Aurelius, surrounded by armies, gold, and endless temptation, reduced life to a single rule, just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter. Imagine that, a ruler of the world reminding himself daily that his crown meant nothing without character. Seneca called virtue the anchor of the soul, the force that holds you steady when fortune shifts. Without it, you drift, chained to desires, tossed by fear, undone by greed. but with it you stand firm, untouched by chaos. To live with virtue above all is to know that your character is the one possession no one can take from you. You may lose your wealth, yet still act with justice. You may lose your health, yet still choose courage. You may lose everything, yet never lose the power to live with wisdom. Fortune can strip you bare, but it cannot reach the integrity within your soul. That is the Stoic's armor. The four pillars of that armor are wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Wisdom, to see clearly, without illusion or panic. Justice, to treat others fairly as part of the same human whole. Courage, to face pain, fear, and uncertainty without retreat. Temperance, to govern desire before it governs you. These are not ideas. They are actions. Every day tests them. Every choice reveals them. Each time you choose virtue over impulse, you carve your destiny one decision deeper. If you chase wealth or status as the highest good, you become their slave, restless when you lack them, hollow when you gain them. But when virtue becomes your compass, nothing can enslave you. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal and loss, yet never lost his clarity. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Those words, simple as they sound, guided an emperor through war and despair. Look around you. The world still worships what fades: success, fame, power. But look closer. How many of those who seem to have everything still search for peace? Without virtue, abundance is poverty. With virtue, even poverty can be abundance. So ask yourself each day, am I living with wisdom? Am I acting with justice? Am I standing with courage? Am I guided by temperance? If you can answer yes, you are already rich in the only currency that matters: character. Virtue is not a decoration, it's a foundation. Build upon it, and no storm will ever tear you down. Because when you live with virtue above all else, everything else in life quietly, naturally begins to fall into place. We have walked through 10 timeless Stoic lessons, each leading closer to peace no chaos can break. The ancients faced fear and loss, yet found freedom not in control, but in clarity. The world will always test you, but your response defines who you are. Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius each mastered themselves amid hardship. That same strength is within you. Focusing on yourself is not selfish, it is wisdom. When you stop chasing what you cannot control, you reclaim what truly matters. Your thoughts, your actions, your character. Each lesson is a key. Acceptance brings calm. Reaction builds power. Nature restores harmony. Adversity creates growth. Detachment brings freedom. Discomfort trains resilience. Guarding time brings focus. Controlling thoughts brings order. Focusing on what you can control restores peace, and virtue gives it all meaning. Now, live it. When anger rises, pause. When fear appears, breathe. When life challenges you, stand with reason and dignity. The goal is not perfection, but practice. One wise choice, one act of courage, one moment of calm at a time. Write in the comments, I choose virtue. Let it remind you to live with integrity and strength. If this message spoke to you, subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. Master yourself, and everything else will fall quietly into place.